Today this is going to be an entirely unedited video about semen retention in the context of what I believe it is. I'm going to talk about some of the benefits that I've experienced, but I'm also going to talk about my mentality and how I think it really works. And I'm also going to talk about some of the personal challenges that I've overcome through it, even though they may not be the same as yours or the same as your journey. But I just want to talk about a lot of my thoughts. So let's start off with the cool stuff, I guess. Let's start off with the benefits. So I haven't gotten super far into meditation. I will meditate very regularly. I feel like through meditation, becoming a very spiritual person outside of semen retention has pushed me to find this practice and find it very, very essential in my life, I would say. So maybe meditation has been more of a precursor for me. But when it comes to manifestation and, transmutation of energy and the buildup of energy within the body, I don't 100% know if that is the case. Not to say that that doesn't exist, and not to say that I am at all the judger of that. I think in many ways I can understand where people are coming from, and I hear them completely. And honestly, in fact, in many ways, I thought that at one point in time that was how it worked. And now, after being on this journey for roughly almost 7 months, I have understood that there is I think it operates a little bit more like this. I think you have a buildup of testosterone as well as a hormone regulation. And sometimes in your life, you experience things, you go through things, and you'll have fluctuations in energy. You'll have fluctuations in brain capacity as well as memory and understanding. However, all these things will get better regardless. Like, there is a build of energy to a degree that you become more capable and more capable and more capable constantly. But also at the same time, you require more discipline and more attention from your own consciousness in different moments. Not to say that it's anything to worry about or stress about, but rather to say that it's very intentional the way you live your life, and you're very self-aware but not anxious. And because of those things, you heighten your states, and this practice brings you into a state of happiness, a state of joy to a degree, but not one that is based on anything of gaining material or not gaining material, or being fully present or not being fully present. It's one that's made out of peace. And I think all the things that come with it, like some people experience, and myself included, experience strong female attraction. Some people experience, the further development of their careers, the manifestation, in their own words, of money. They believe that they are, in ways, a higher value to God, and He gives them gifts, or a higher value to the world, and living on a higher vibrational energy, and they manifest these gifts through staying in this state. Like I said, I wanna preface really quick. I don't know if 100% that is how life works. I don't know if you sit in a vibrational playing field. I understand very well where they can be coming from, and I'm very conscious that even in myself, I've seen it many times before, believing that. But I have a more Christian view on it, that God has a unique plan for our lives. See, when you're doing semen retention for a long period of time, you start to understand that it's more about the journey, less about the days, less about the weeks, less about the things that come up. It's more about overall what you've experienced. So, yeah, with the benefits, increased female attraction, higher value to your purpose, you're more pushed towards your goals if you even feel like there's something that you should do, or you're pushed away from your goals if you start to realize that there's something you're not supposed to be pursuing. You begin to fully live in every moment with joy and knowledge that things will be okay regardless of what happens. And I think that for me has been such a blessing, but I'll get into what's personally changed for me here in a minute. And then also on the benefits, change in body composition. You start to look a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more balanced, maybe some might say a little bit more attractive in parts, but overall I think you become a little bit more just powerful in your presence, and your appearance is going to show that. I guess I'm going to sidebar here, and I want to talk about the things that have made this process a little bit better. So for me, drinking coffee at the beginning was something that I thought I shouldn't do, and I do understand it has its drawbacks in a long-term setting, but drinking coffee in the morning has been something that has really helped me go very long-term at this, because it's something I genuinely enjoy, and it's kind of built some of my other habits in the morning. So maybe drinking coffee and then building that morning routine has helped, mainly so you get out of bed. Like for me, in the morning, very strong urges, need to get out of bed. Okay, so there's that. Very intense exercise, particularly cardio. I noticed that once you hit, maybe 20, 30 days, you start to have this buildup of energy that is so great. I mean, you can hit it before then, but you start to have this buildup of energy that is so incredibly great that you really need to just pump it all out, right? And one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion, and what I found, is go on a run. Some people do like very intense lifting sessions or kettlebell sessions or sprinting sessions, something of high intensity and high cardiovascular exercise as well. This is important because you need to feel genuinely fatigued to a degree. Maybe not mentally, but physically to a degree. Because if you're genuinely fatigued, then you have a release of energy into those areas that need more care and concern. Like I said, I think that is a physiological thing. I don't know if that's 100% energy just absolutely entering your legs or your heart or whatever, but it is something that I found kind of very helpful in my journey, because, and I'm going to pepper some of my experiences in, because I'm realizing now that I need to do that. On this path, right, you're going to go through an initial stage if you're first coming out of, first starting the journey. And that stage is an adjustment stage. You need to understand the significance, find your why, go deep into it and understand what it can offer you and where your place in it is. And so in this initial stage, you don't really understand predominantly what's going on, but you understand that it is important to follow. Then after, a while, the energy just gets really, really strong. And so it's going to force you to do different things than you would normally do. And that's a good thing. That's okay. That's completely normal, and that's actually what you want, because you're starting your journey in that way, like really starting your journey. And so you're going to have these intense bouts of flatline, is what it's called in the Semen Retention community. But I think more so what I would call it is just this idleness to your life. You're going to sit and idle at times with your autonomic nervous system, with no stimulation, because you just can't handle it anymore. And you're going to realize that your mind is really, really hungry, and it's going to bring up all these thoughts and questions, and you're going to think very deeply about these things. And it may be very sad and depressing. You may realize that much of your life is wasted. You may realize that the destruction that you've caused to yourself. You may even think about the times of which you failed in semen retention. You may think about the opportunities you've wasted. There's a lot of really sad aspects to this journey, in that you cannot escape the bad. It will hit you hard. And it's not something that it hits you hard in order to make you understand that, like, maybe this isn't for you. Like, it's not depressing overall to a degree, but it is a very deep and emotional journey, due to the heightened awareness, and due to the probably because of the hormonal fluctuation and volatility. But when it comes to understanding how to get out of that, right, we need to realize is what I kind of want to paint the picture on in those moments of flatline is, or at least this is how I've seen it, is you have the energy still building. You're in this really hard mental state, but you still have the energy built, and it's building. Even though you may not see the benefits in some areas and versus some other areas, it's still there. You just got to put it into motion. Idle energy tends to go sit like idle water. Water that is not moving becomes gross and disgusting. It starts to develop, weird mold and stuff, and it starts to smell bad. And if it doesn't go into motion, right, then it doesn't become drinkable. And that is water's purpose is to be used. But if not, it grows sour in ways. And in the same way, when we find idleness in our lives and in our journeys through this, and maybe deep sadness as well, we need to realize that we are still however many days in, or if you don't want to focus on days, we are still on the path. This is still part of the process. And I'm gonna be honest, man, even myself, I don't know if each and every time that this happens, I can be honest, I can be 100% in that mental headspace and say, don't worry, man, it's gonna get all get better. Sometimes just feeling the depth of your emotion is what is necessary to get over it and get past it. But throughout this journey, you're going to experience that sadness. One of the best ways to keep moving and to kind of control your mental headspace is through intense physical exercise. So there's that sidebar, I guess, as all the things that I think really. Also eating well. You need to eat well, but you're kind of going to figure out the things that help you the most through through just doing it. I don't need to sit here and tell you. I mean, the reason I talk about it is so I can explain my thoughts. There's only a few, if anybody watches this, there's only going to be a few bit of you that actually try to implement the things that I'm talking about. I figured all this stuff out through word of mouth. I figured all this stuff through spiritual contemplation and sitting with myself for long hours. But me and myself, I'm not special to understand these things. This is something that everyone will have to understand at some point in time. And actually, I would probably argue that everyone does understand these things. It's just not put in front of their face as, important, maybe to pursue. How are we doing on time? Okay. I guess I'll run through a little bit of my experience with it so I can give people an understanding as to maybe a little bit of a guidance to the process. So, in my semen retention journey, one of the biggest things that I found very, very useful is, well, maybe not useful, but very keeps me committed to the process, is finding a why. Each and every day, even if that means overall it changes, it's like, why do you want better for your life? Who really are you? Why do you want this journey? I think initially you need to give it a try and understand what it has to offer, but ultimately, why are you on this path? It's not something that's too great. It's something that most men, I think, have to do at some point in time in their life to find greatness. But why do you want to be here? I'll tell you right now, it's because it's fulfilling. But in the first part of my journey, the first couple weeks, the first couple months, I was suffering pretty badly from mental health issues. And I want to say I did it for about 2 weeks and everything was gone. I never had to worry about any of my problems ever again, really. I knew that I could just hop back on semen retention after I relapsed for those 2 weeks and get back to that state. So I was very capable afterwards. So not only just going through it for 2 weeks did it help me, but even after relapsing, I was very in control. And it completely changed my perspective on life. Because after the 2 weeks, I think that was my first streak ever. I did 36 days or so. And that completely changed my life forever. I knew that after that, I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I think no one really knows how life works. What I've realized through all this is there's so many liars out there. And guys, if you're watching this right now, dude, I'm so sorry that you've been lied to, man. Genuinely, I am so sorry that you've been lied to. I wish someone would be sorry for the fact that I've been lied to, I guess. But I'm so sorry that they told you all this BS that you've been chasing after for months, for years. None of it's working, isn't it? One of the biggest things that I've realized on this journey is that there is no other way to live a meaningful life than to pursue this. You have to have semen retention to have a meaningful life. You have to be retained in many ways, but especially in this way, because it takes focus outside of yourself very, very greatly, outside of your desires and urges, and pushes you to do things that you thought you'd never do but only dream of. Seriously, I mean that. I wish I could say that this is something that I'm just making up. Like, I wish I could say I was crazy. Or actually, I don't wish I could say I was crazy. I mean, I guess I could say I'm crazy and that I'm a completely delusional human being. But I'm not. I have really, really tried in life in many ways. And I've been studious and called smart, even outside of retention. I know that I am conscious of what is happening. And it's wild to think that there's a life outside of this. I mean, obviously, if you want to have kids, if you want to, you're going to mess up from time to time. That's okay. That's all part of the journey. But if you're trying really, really hard and you're trying to do it for the significance of doing it, you're trying to do it for intentional goals, you're going to get the benefits, and they're going to be amazing, and they're always going to be incredibly spiritual. So I guess my benefit, my experience with it has always been nothing short of amazing. Even if there are moments of destruction and darkness. Like, I'm telling you, man, there's going to be a lot that hits you right there at the beginning, and there's going to be a lot that stays with you. And you're going to know how to navigate, after doing it for quite some time, but it ain't going to be easy at all. Like, it's not easy. And it sure as hell is not worth it in every moment. Like, I mean, I'm in a happy state right now. I'm in a very rejoicing state right now. It's not because of anything that's happened to me. It's just mainly just because that's how today is, right? But it's not easy. And it's not always worth it. But it becomes worth it. Because in moments that it is worth it, those moments sing like a lifetime throughout the reality that which is your life. They are the biggest moments. And I have not had enough experience with it to really give a true testimony to all the benefits and all the things that I've experienced and all the things that I'm going to experience and all the things that I believe and have in my mind about it right now. There's a lot more, but I don't want to just start yapping about stuff I don't truly know about. But it is the most dynamic and meaningful thing I've ever done in my life. I really hope that each and every single man one day gets to understand the beauty that is behind his own eyes, if he may choose to see it. That's all.